Namaskar, everyone. So we'll have a very short session today, just overviewing what we covered before. So the units that we covered include the following ones. Let me just share briefly. So we covered Introduction to Tantra Yogic Practices, Culture and Philosophy of Ananda Marga. And then we focused on the Ananda Marga tradition by psychology, the 5 layers of the mind. We overviewed these philosophical concepts based on the Tantra yogic practices and culture of Ananda Marga. Then we went into a cross-cultural view on what is meditation and how different traditions see it, like Tantra yoga, like Buddhism, and other contemplative educations. Then we covered some aspects of the science of meditation. Max presented on data visualization, interpreting scientific research on meditation and its benefits and the process. And then we talked about psychological and cognitive impact of meditation, how different developmental, social, cognitive benefits of meditation are there. And then Madhuvidya presented on the art and meditation. And we explored some artistic expressions through the lens of meditation. Then we did a lot. Then we covered cultural and psychological overview of kirtan and different other, you can say, sacred chanting across different religions, cultures. Some of them, we didn't cover all of them, of course, and some of the, you can say, music therapy or healing healing that Max called it, implications. And then, yeah, Max presented on the science of singing in kirtan. So I guess because our time is limited, let's keep it to the essence. You can overview, if you're really interested, the presentations on YouTube. But otherwise, does Madhuvidya or Max want to share any questions on their respective topics, or are you guys interested to know more about any of these, or you have any questions about anything going on forward? Let's take 5 more minutes, like 6 more minutes to wrap this up. Let's start with questions about these topics that were mentioned. And if there won't be any questions, then we'll just overview what we will study next, and then we will disperse. I suggest we use our time.
I have a question. Can I?
Yes, please.
Uh, I'm just wondering if you would be able to share um, what you did read before I joined the group, so I can catch up basically and to be up to speed, if it's possible.
So, in terms of sharing what we read, because
Or
uh,
at least the names of the book or the parts, so I can find it myself.
okay, so basically, we're not basing this particular course on the books. Each like one of the three people, Madhuvidya, Max, or me, we prepare presentations and we share them during the class, and then we discuss on the class. So there are no suggested. Is it true though, Max or Madhuvidya, there is no suggested literature for this course? I think there must be.
So technically, yes, but it depends on who's presenting. Moravidia oftentimes references the book. Some of her presentations are more art focused and meditation focused. So that's the main reason.
Hmm.
Uh, Nirmal or Nikolai often presents with more broad literature in terms of what is in the book, as well as things he read on the topic as well. He has a very large library of topics. And in my presentations, I very rarely reference the book. I generally look at things outside of the class so that people have a bit of a fresh view on things. But in my case, at the very least, I always present my sources at the end of the slides. And I'm pretty sure the other two are doing the same. So generally speaking, anytime you wonder where the material came from, you can look at the end of the slides and you'll see them. Which, by the way, reminds me, I'll post the 4 presentations as a block in the group chat because some of them are missing. Like for instance, my last presentation, I did not post it in the chat. I just forgot. So I need to do that. And the blocks of presentation will be available for you to view. And from there, you can obviously read on the material itself whenever you want to, both scientific and not.
Also, we have
Great.
the lectures recorded, so you can see them on YouTube channel.
Yeah, I will actually, Madhuvidi, can we add Sasha to our Prachar school so he can access them, please?
Yes.
And now that you are asking me, Sasha, because the course is titled The Science of Tantra Yoga, which means that we are looking at the science of Tantra Yoga. This is like the core, the nucleus of our focus. But we look at it from different lens and perspectives. For example, Marx prefers like neuroscience and different kind of more natural sciences kind of perspectives. I prefer more psychological or cultural or social perspectives and the Tantra yogic perspective. So does Madhuvidya, and she also favors creativity and arts-based lens, how we look at it. But if you really want to learn just about the philosophy and culture of Tantra yoga, I suggest these 4 books to start with. And this can take quite a while. So
Okay.
the first one is by Ramesh Bjorns. It's called A Brief History of Tantra. Basically, that book you can read if you're interested to know just the history of Tantra yoga and how it's different and similar with yoga, and how it's different and similar from say Vedic culture and Vedic religion. It's interested if you want to have a broad understanding of what it is and where it comes from. Now, the second book is alternative. One, it's called Tantra Illuminated. It's also on philosophy, history, and practice of a timeless tradition by Christopher Wallace. It's a respected scholar. He's not an Ananda Margi. He doesn't have anything to do with Sri Shanandamurti. He's a respected scholar on Tantra. It's a little more, you can say, subjectively, I see it as more of a dry reading, but like it's just my non-professional whatever opinion, which should not really matter too much. I would acknowledge it because it's respected in the scholarly world. Now, books 3 and 4, I by my guru, by my master Sri Shanandamurti, and the first one, like they are quite long. There are 2 volumes, Discourses on Tantra. They overview different tantric terms, definitions, ideas, philosophy, and practices. I really recommend them. I don't think they are not the easiest to read, but again, it depends from person to person. I don't want you to discourage you. You will learn you will know pretty much everything there is to a person can know about Tantra if you read that.
No, I'm not discouraged. It just, like I, like I started listening to a Raja Yoga book, like on Spotify, kind of halfway through. At least it's something. So I thought, like, okay, some guidance would be good.
I would say if you are like really self-directed, self-motivated um, spiritual practitioner, I would say go ahead. This was one of the first big books that I read. I was a little bit difficult for me to go through all the Sanskrit terminology, but with time you get used to it.
Well, it's
Learn
just
a
a
lot.
first step, So yeah, it's just a first step. So
Yeah. So yes, of course. And then Yoga Psychology is a complementary book. It's very in-depth look into Tantra yoga philosophy and practices. So these are the core readings. I can share them to our chat. And otherwise, thank you for going through. If we are halfway in, guys, and we will continue by overviewing all the other core practices of Tantra Yoga, which will include these units: asanas, then character or value education or moral thinking, yama niyama, and then pranayama or breath control, then pratyahara sense withdrawal, and then dharana concentration, and we conclude with samadhi. So we go through the core 8 practices of Tantra Yoga, and we take different perspectives to look at them. Any more questions, concerns? I think we should let's take final comments from whoever wants to comment, and let's conclude the session.
I think it was a great meditation today.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you're with us. It's
Quite,
good to...
quite powerful actually. Yeah. So I don't know. Just
Well,
felt different. Oh,
well, what you put, the work you put, the spiritual work you put in, you, you get the results. We must not hanker for results, but we must do our best,
due diligence, right?
due
So
diligence. Yeah, this is our sadhana. Okay, Max, Madhu, Japesh, final words, final comments. Let's take it home. Let's bring it home and let's sleep, for God's sake.
Is it like 10:45 already? At 10:38. I just wanted to comment on some of the stuff that's been said earlier by the data, and maybe some people here can reciprocate on this. One of my biggest obsessions, negative ones, with religion, and a lot of what I was originally associating with the study circle and a lot of what Tantra Yoga was about, was pretty much discussed today, which was the concept of dogmatism and the inability to question certain things. Now, what I did learn today was an actually very interesting little thing, which I really, really wanted an answer for a very long time. And I think I finally got it, which is that what are the basic units that can no longer be questioned? And in yoga, I think it's the personal experience. In scientific thinking, you mostly operate on things that are either physical or logically infallible. You don't rely on emotion and experience of the researcher. Here, the experience of the person and how consistently each person experiences it through meditation is the one atomic grain that builds up the entire structure, which means that by understanding through meditation basic concepts of what I would call the greater good, what you call Arnaparusha, right? Would be that basic point where around what everything else is built. So if you cannot experience through meditation these things, you're either doing meditation wrong or you are, as a person, somehow disabled to handle these things. Like in my case, I would be. Because of my heavy ADHD and incredibly strong imagination, I cannot really go past the stabilization stage where you meditate and you kind of like start to let go of things. My mind is so quick that things keep moving, regardless of how hard I try to keep it still. But that's just my problem. For people in this circle, that may not be the case. But that explains my frustrations with meditation. That explains what I have to do and the direction in which I have to go in order to fix that. And that also explains around what everything has been built so far and why you can technically question it, but without these basic experiences about the whole thing, none of your questioning will ever make sense. And I think that answers a lot of my initial questions and basically kind of allowed me to understand more about what we're currently doing. Hopefully that can be shared here as well.
Of course it can be. We have a strong dharmic circle, which can contain all kinds of emotions, ideas, thoughts, personality types, experiences, traditions, religions, not traditions, not religions. Yeah, well, depending if they are extremists, then, but then again, no, I think this is what I mean. Shishanandamurti, I don't, I don't want to comment on him, but basically, to reiterate, he straight up says, use your mind, respect your mind, do it, think it, question, argue, go ahead. It's just maybe the demarcation line is that the spiritual knowledge, and like Dada Diptimananda ji said, yeah, it's mostly like it's experiential pedagogy. You have to apply it, you have to experience it in your body, in your mind, and in the place beyond it, in your individual consciousness. And it's okay that everybody will have a different experience. And but basically, we should just be going back to basic if something is not working, because there are pretty much explanations for different kinds of circumstances. Because what you're going through, Max, in terms of like difficult, crazy mind, like my person with ADHD, he came to the retreat, Alex Amea. He does it every day. He doesn't do long meditation. He struggles, but he benefits a lot. He is very consistent. So, I mean, for different kinds of temperaments and personalities, you can do it. And if you're just doing like, say, 4 steps out of 8, it's a lot. It's fine. Shishanandamurti, I remember one of his recommendations, if the person like struggles with like being focused on, say, a mantra or visual, like further stages, then we have to take longer in the initial ones because this is the basics that we have to work on. No matter what we do, our initial, those 4 initial stages of meditation, which constitute sensory withdrawal, like pratyahara, like clearing your environment, your body, and then your mind. It should take like 90%, as far as I understand, of the time in our meditation. And mantra should take like 5%. Like concentration only takes like 5, like little percentage of that, because it's so difficult to just clear yourself, clean yourself. Anyways, we're running over time and my food is getting cold.
All right. No, this is great, guys. I think, this is my second time and everybody's so different. I think it's a great deal because like we can learn so much from each other, especially about the perception and, personal experiences. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
I'm
give
just
it some time.
give it some
Anyway,
time.
enjoy your meal, guys. Okay.
I guess only to me. Namaskar, but I'll stop recording